What if I told you that your plastic trash could become the most enchanting part of your garden? No, not just pots and bins. I'm talking about fairy tale towers, tiny bottle castles, and planters so charming they could live in a storybook. In this video, you'll discover how to turn ordinary plastic bottles into the cutest garden decor ideas you've ever seen. And yes, you can do them yourself. Welcome to Backyard Fortune, where your garden dreams begin. This video includes timestamps, so feel free to skip ahead. And if you're curious or have questions, just drop a comment below. Whimsical Mickey Bottle Buddy for backyard fun. In the quiet rhythm of a blooming garden, where daisies smile at the sun and marigolds nod gently in the breeze, something unexpected brings delight. Not a rare flower, but a humble plastic bottle reborn with imagination. Amid the curved stone paths and dewy petals, a cheerful character stands tall. Its round ears, wide grin, and red trousers tell a story of joy. Once discarded, this bottle now lives again. Hand-painted, playfully sculpted, and proudly watching over the garden like a loyal little friend. It doesn't need to speak. Its colors sing loud enough. And suddenly, the garden becomes not just a space of nature, but of play, memory, and story. Further along the tulip bed, sunlight catches the soft glow of another upcycled figure. Its body is crafted from a blue-tinted bottle, now housing a pocket of soil and life. With tiny yellow shoes planted on the ground and little arms outstretched in greeting, it becomes more than decor. It becomes a character, perhaps a gardener in its own right. The tulips bloom taller beside it, as if proud to share their space with something so lovingly made. The scene feels enchanted, yet entirely real. Made from hands, not machines. From leftover plastic, not polished marble. And nestled between pansies of deepest purple and brightest yellow, another charming bottle buddy beams with round white eyes and open arms made from simple screw caps. It blends right into the garden's heart, not because it tries to disappear, but because it belongs. Created not for perfection, but for presence. Its body once held soda or water, now it holds stories and smiles. These little creations are more than crafts. They are gentle acts of kindness, to the earth, to imagination, to the small corners of the world we call our own. They show us that you don't need expensive materials to bring charm to a garden. You just need time, and care, and a bit of color. If you're thinking of trying it yourself, start small. A clean bottle, a splash of paint, some old buttons or caps. Let your hands guide the way. There are no rules here, only joy. Let your garden grow, not only in greenery but in personality. Let it whisper to your neighbors, to birds overhead, to the bees that stop to rest, that beauty doesn't always bloom from the ground. Sometimes, it's built from what we almost threw away. And perhaps, the next time you walk your garden path, you'll feel the gaze of a painted face watching over the blooms, not guarding them, but celebrating with them. Quietly, colorfully, endlessly alive. TOPIK the Bunny Bottle Veggie Guardian. Sometimes, in the heart of a vegetable garden, between the scent of mint and the soft rustle of lettuce leaves, a gentle figure watches over the harvest. Not a scarecrow, not a gardener, but a bunny. A bunny made from what once was trash, now transformed into a little guardian with wide eyes and a cheerful smile. His name is Max. Max isn't carved from wood or cast in stone. He was born from a glass or plastic bottle, lovingly painted with blushing cheeks, bright blue eyes, and floppy ears made from repurposed CDS that glisten like wings when the sunlight hits them. Around his neck hangs a tiny handmade sign that says exactly who he is. And though he never moves, his presence brings joy to anyone who kneels nearby to harvest a sprig of rosemary or check on ripening carrots. What makes Max so charming isn't just his face, it's his purpose. He stands among the veggies not only as decoration but as a symbol. A symbol that something small, something thrown away, can be turned into something meaningful. And that even in the most practical places, like a raised garden bed, there's room for wonder. These DIY bunnies are easy to make and endlessly adaptable. You can use any clean bottle as the base. A few craft supplies, recycled materials, and a bit of imagination are all you need. CDS become ears, yarn becomes whiskers, old corks or bottle caps become noses and paws. And if you want your bunny to feel even more at home, give it a name, a sign, a purpose. Let it mark your herb rows or welcome butterflies to your greens. And don't worry about perfection. That's not what Max is about. He's about creativity. He's about giving new life to things we thought were finished. He's about making a child smile when they find him peeking from the lettuce. About making a tired gardener laugh when they see his toothy grin at sunrise. With every bottle we turn into a bunny, every cap we reuse as a paw, we're not just decorating, we're gently reminding ourselves that magic lives in the ordinary. That beauty can bloom from waste. And that gardens aren't just for growing food, they're for growing joy. So the next time you find an empty bottle in your recycling bin, imagine how his ears might sparkle under the morning sun, how his silly smile might light up your garden's edge. And then, try it. Paint, glue, plant, create. Because sometimes, a recycled bunny is all it takes to turn a vegetable bed into a storybook. Woodland squirrel bottle charm for garden paths. There's a certain kind of wonder that lives low to the ground, in the soft shuffle of leaves, the hush of moss beneath your feet, and the way tiny creatures might pause mid-step as you wander the garden. Among the wildflowers and worn stone paths, one such creature waits, not a real woodland animal, but a delightful echo of one, crafted with care from the simplest of materials. At first glance, it may look like a real squirrel caught mid-munch, clutching an imaginary nut. But step closer, and you'll see what it's truly made of: a glossy brown bottle for its body, coconut fiber for a spiral tail, garden twine for whiskers, and little caps and scraps shaped into ears, teeth, and paws. It's an illusion that delights not because it tries to fool the eye, but because it celebrates what's possible when imagination meets resourcefulness. Set beside daisies in a terracotta pot, the figure adds whimsy without overwhelming. It doesn't demand attention. It invites it. And that's the charm, the feeling that this little upcycled friend has always been part of your garden, like it wandered in and stayed. In another quiet spot under a leafy shrub, a second squirrel perches curiously near pink flower petals scattered like confetti. Its fluffy tail, impossibly soft and wild, dances lightly in the breeze. The afternoon light glows across its painted body, and for a second, the garden seems like a page out of a children's storybook. Creating figures like these is a joy all its own. Start with a bottle, clean and dry. Add color. Add texture. Use natural fibers, twine, cardboard, anything you'd otherwise toss aside. This is more than craft, it's story making. It's play. And more than anything, it's a gentle reminder that your garden is a place not just for growing things, but for bringing things back to life. These recycled squirrel figures don't serve a practical role. They won't scare pests or label rows. But they do something just as important. They stir smiles. They spark curiosity. They turn a walk down a garden path into a miniature adventure. And that's the beauty of DIY bottle decor done with heart. It doesn't just decorate, it transforms. Not just the garden, but the gardener. So let your next project be inspired by woodland charm. Reclaim what's been forgotten. Shape it, paint it, place it by the lavender or under the maple. Give it silly teeth, or a tail that curls with personality. And then, let it live there, quietly, peacefully, as your garden's own little guardian of wonder. Vertical mouse bottle garden around the tree. Not every garden needs grand fountains or stone sculptures to feel magical. Sometimes, it only takes a few repurposed bottles, a splash of paint, and a tree willing to host a little village of smiles. Around the sturdy trunk of an old tree, a delightful community has gathered. Their ears are bottle caps, their noses buttons, and from the tops of their heads, herbs and flowers spring like leafy hair. These are no ordinary planters. They are playful mice, each with its own expression, its own charm, and they've turned a simple backyard tree into the centerpiece of a storybook scene. Some are painted jet black with vibrant orange ears, holding sprigs of rosemary and lemongrass. Others grin widely with blue noses and twinkling eyes, cradling parsley, thyme, and little tufts of basil. Even in their stillness, they radiate character, as if any moment, they might squeak with joy or wiggle with delight. There's something deeply satisfying about vertical gardens like this. They don't ask for extra land, only the surface of something already strong. Trees, fence posts, even walls can become canvases. And with each bottle mounted, each herb tucked gently into soil, the tree becomes more alive, not just with greenery, but with humor and heart. Creating your own mouse bottle garden is as easy as letting your imagination wander. Start with clean plastic bottles, preferably sturdy ones. Flip them upside down, paint faces, cut out ears, glue on tiny noses. Add drainage holes, fill with potting mix, and choose your plants. For trees, herbs with shallow roots work beautifully, mint, oregano, or trailing flowers that can drape like whiskers in the breeze. And then comes the best part, placing them. Watch how they climb the bark, how they interact with the ivy and the butterflies. How they draw the eyes of children and adults alike. These aren't just decorations, they are garden companions. They remind us that nature can be fun, that sustainability can be cheerful, that creativity has no age. So if your backyard tree has stood tall and quiet for years, maybe it's ready for company. Not just birds and bees, but a ring of cheerful mice made from things you once thought were waste. Things now blooming with laughter, color, and life. Let your garden be a playground not just for plants, but for the stories only recycled art can tell. Ice Queen Bottle Garden Sculpture. Sometimes, magic isn't found in distant lands or fantasy books. Sometimes, it quietly blooms in our own backyards. Imagine strolling through your garden and stumbling upon a radiant queen, her dress glinting like morning frost, her presence regal yet whimsical. She stands tall not in a palace, but among blooms and grasses, her gown stitched not from silk, but from carefully shaped and repurposed plastic bottles. And that's the beauty of this creation. It teaches us that elegance can rise from the humblest materials. These life-sized sculptures are a celebration of transformation, of turning waste into wonder. The icy blues and translucent whites mimic winter's finest fabrics, while each layer of her dress tells a quiet story of creativity and care. Her shimmering bodice, covered in sparkling mosaic textures, brings dimension and grace, like frost catching light at dawn. The long silver braid cascading down her shoulder adds a gentle human touch to her mythical aura. Placed in the midst of lavender, asters, or marigolds, she blends into the garden not as an ornament, but as a character, as if she has always lived among the flowers, keeping watch over the petals and bees. And yet, this sculpture is more than decorative. It is an invitation to reimagine what we throw away, to turn discarded plastic into something that moves us. If you're inspired to create your own ice queen, begin by collecting bottles in shades of blue and clear. Cut them into gentle curves and fan them out into skirts and panels. Let your imagination guide the silhouette, ruffled, flowing, or even architectural. Use hot glue and wire for structure, and consider layering textures to reflect light. Her crown can be a ring of twisted caps or clear shards, and her face left simple to let the light play on her figure. Don't worry if your sculpture isn't perfect. It's meant to feel handmade, alive with flaws and charm. Let it change with the seasons. Maybe her dress gathers snow in winter, or glows golden in summer sunlight. That's part of her story too. In the end, she becomes a symbol, not only of creativity and beauty, but of responsibility and hope. Proof that the things we toss aside might still have a destiny. And perhaps, in crafting something so enchanting, we remember the magic that exists when hands, heart, and earth work together. Whimsical recycled genie for garden corners. In a world where plastic often ends its journey in landfills or floating along forgotten streams, a quiet revolution is blooming, one that invites us to see beauty in the discarded and magic in the mundane. Step into the heart of a garden reimagined, where the icy grace of a winter queen and the joyful charm of storybook genies now reign among petals and sunshine, all sculpted from recycled bottles. Imagine strolling through a garden where a regal ice queen greets you, her gown cascading in waves of translucent blue, shimmering like frost touched by sunlight. Her bodice sparkles with mosaic reflections, each piece telling a story of transformation. What was once a simple plastic bottle now dances with elegance, framed by lavender, mint, and blossoms that nod in the breeze. These enchanting figures aren't just decor, they are poetic reminders that sustainability can wear a crown. A little further along, nestled among golden marigolds and stone paths, laughter seems to echo, not from a voice, but from the wide grin of a cheerful genie made entirely of bottles. His arms open as if to offer the world, his form glowing gently beneath garden leaves. There's something delightfully nostalgic about him, as if he just stepped out of a storybook into your backyard, ready to grant wishes not with magic, but with creativity and care. He reminds us that reuse can be playful, too, full of color, humor, and surprise. Each of these sculptures is more than a craft, they are statements. They tell visitors, neighbors, and future generations that joy can grow from what we throw away. If you're wondering how to begin your own journey into this world of garden enchantment, start small. Gather bottles in shades of blue, experiment with cutting and layering them like petals or scales. Use sunlight to your advantage. Transparent plastic can become ethereal when kissed by the golden glow of morning. And let your garden be your canvas. A corner under a vine-draped pergola, a patch of marigolds, a bed of thyme, all offer the perfect setting for your imagination to bloom. Add twinkling solar lights, or weave in soft greenery to contrast the glint of upcycled plastic. No grand tools required, only intention and a touch of wonder. As the wind moves through these bottle-born characters, they come alive with each fluttering leaf and sunbeam, reminding us that even discarded things can shine again. In this gentle space of transformation, your garden becomes more than a place. It becomes a living story where every bloom and bottle has its own verse. Colorful cow bottle fence planter display. Hidden between flowerbeds and garden fences, creativity often finds the most magical ways to bloom. With just a few simple plastic bottles, a splash of color, and a sprinkle of imagination, you can turn even the quietest garden corner into a source of joy and storytelling. Tucked among marigolds and thyme, a little blue genie appears as though summoned from an ancient tale. His body, sculpted entirely from translucent plastic bottles, gleams beneath the daylight, and his face, painted with wide eyes and an infectious smile, welcomes you as if ready to grant 3 green wishes. Whether he's standing on stone, floating under a pergola, or joyfully rising above garden soil, each genie seems to whisper, "Wonder lives here." His hands, crafted with bottle ends and open in cheer, invite us to rediscover childhood magic using things we might have otherwise thrown away. It's not just a sculpture, it's a guardian of dreams, forged from the ordinary and reborn through the playful lens of reuse. And just a few steps away, on a weathered wooden fence, a parade of colorful cow planters smiles beneath the summer sun. Their bodies, once bottles tossed aside, now bloom with pansies, daisies, basil, and mint. Each cow wears a new personality, some spotted like farmyard friends, others cloaked in stripes, polka dots, or floral patterns that look handpicked from a child's coloring book. Their ears stick out wide, their eyes cartoon bright, and from their heads, the wild tufts of greenery grow like joyful hair. It's more than a decoration, it's a celebration of life, whimsy, and the quiet power of transformation. This kind of garden art isn't just for display. It inspires us to see potential where we once saw waste. It reminds us that nature and creativity can, and should, coexist. The joy of these projects lies not only in their final form, but in the act of creating them. Whether you're painting beside a loved one, tracing smiles onto your cow's snout, or assembling your genie's bottle body under the sun, each step becomes a memory, a little bit of magic tucked between brush strokes and laughter. So let your garden bloom with stories. Let it smile back at you. And let your hands, guided by imagination, turn yesterday's plastic into tomorrow's enchantment. Cheerful Donald Duck bottle garden accent. In a quiet corner of a garden where butterflies glide gently and sunlight dances between the fence slats, something utterly heartwarming greets the eye, a parade of colorful cow faces crafted from humble plastic bottles. These aren't just planters, they are personalities. Each cow, painted with charm and humor, displays its own quirky expression. One grins mischievously, another looks bashful. Their floppy ears, googly eyes, and horns made of crafted clay give them character, while lush herbs and cheerful flowers bloom from the tops of their heads like whimsical hairdos. The fence they adorn transforms into a stage of joy, a visual lullaby for the senses. The cows wear coats of polka dots, floral prints, and playful stripes in every color of the rainbow, radiating a sense of celebration and creativity. Behind them, vines curl lazily, and the wooden fence glows in the warm kiss of the sun. It feels real, playful, inviting. This is the kind of DIY that doesn't require perfection, just love, a few spare bottles, a splash of paint, and a spark of joy. Begin by cutting bottles in half, giving them a new life with acrylics and sealing spray. Use wire or strong string to hang them along the fence. Plant simple herbs like mint or lavender, plants that thrive easily and smell delightful. Suddenly, you've not only upcycled waste, but you've animated your fence with laughter. Just a few steps away, among marigolds and daisies, a cheerful face peeks out. With a red bow tie, blue sailor suit, and wide orange beak, this garden guest is unmistakably inspired by a beloved character, Donald Duck. But what makes him truly magical isn't his resemblance to the cartoon. It's how he exists here, grounded in the soil, born from a plastic bottle once destined for the bin. His wings stretch outward with glee, while lavender sways softly in the background and tiny garden critters curiously explore around his feet. Whether he's standing proudly on grass or tucked between terracotta pots, Donald becomes more than decoration, he's a guardian of joy. A reminder that creativity lives in the smallest gestures. With just one bottle, a brush, and a bit of imagination, your garden can echo with childlike wonder. And perhaps, in the quiet of evening, when the bees have flown home and the petals have closed for sleep, your garden will smile back at you, through cow faces on a fence and a duck in a sailor hat, reminding you that beauty doesn't come from what you buy, but from what you choose to give a second life to. Let your garden grow with stories. Let your bottles bloom with laughter. And let your heart, once again, find magic in the simplest things. Rustic recycled robot to watch over flowers. In a quiet corner of the garden, where lavender sways gently and sunshine filters through the wooden pergola, a familiar face beams with joy. It's not just a decoration, it's a cheerful Donald Duck, lovingly recreated from a humble plastic bottle. His sailor blues and wide red bow tie light up the space with cartoon-like charm, making the garden feel as if it belongs in a storybook. This upcycled bottle isn't simply painted, it's transformed. His arms, spread open in delight, seem to welcome the bees, butterflies, and perhaps a smile from every passerby. Elsewhere, nestled between marigolds and fresh mint, another Donald figure grins brightly. Crafted with painted wings and sunny yellow feet, this character brings a whimsical presence to the soil. His joyful expression, framed by the bloom of terracotta pots, turns a basic garden into a playful escape. The contrast between vibrant blossoms and a bottle-made mascot reminds us, joy doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs heart and a little creativity. There's magic in seeing something so everyday become a companion to our flowers. And as the garden path curves into a bed of daisies and zinnias, a larger-than-life Donald Duck sculpture stands tall and proud. His hands on his hips, he looks like the guardian of laughter in a land where petals outnumber problems. The warm earth beneath his feet, the gentle breeze around him, everything feels so real, yet touched by nostalgia. You don't need expensive decor to create this kind of charm. A reused bottle, some paint, and a dash of imagination can bring character to your backyard. Upcycling isn't just about saving materials, it's about storytelling. It's about letting our gardens speak through art, humor, and personality. With every bottle that finds new life, we plant not just greenery, but delight. Between the petals of snapdragons and the rustic scent of soil, a curious figure keeps watch. A robot, built from what once held motor oil, now lives among the plants. Its arms curl in silver springs, its expression fixed in gentle curiosity. A metal coil forms a whimsical mustache, while its eyes, a pair of googly marvels, seem to notice the tiniest bloom. This robot doesn't just decorate. It belongs. In a garden where stories matter, it plays a quiet role, part sentry, part friend. Farther along the garden path, where sunflowers stretch toward the sky and wooden crates whisper of old farm tales, another recycled guardian stands. Its square head, worn with patina and printed labels, carries the soul of forgotten machines. Yet its presence feels warm, never cold. Its clawed hands reach not in threat, but as if offering help, or perhaps harvesting sunshine. This piece isn't polished, but that's its beauty. Imperfection here is a form of poetry. And among the buzzing bees and drifting butterflies, a robot with springy arms raises its claws in playful triumph. Made from a lubricant bottle and metal scraps, its chain necklace glints in the sunlight like a knight of the flower bed. The daisies around it bow in silent greeting, while pink clover and rustling grass create a living frame. It doesn't matter that this robot began life as trash. In this moment, it's the hero of the meadow. These little machines, born of waste, carry big lessons. They teach us that creativity blooms in unexpected ways. That the best designs don't always come from stores, but from hands that care and minds that imagine. So next time you see an empty bottle, pause. Don't throw it away. You might just be looking at the next character in your garden's unfolding tale. Hanging poodle planter with succulent flair. There's something quietly wonderful about stepping into a garden where creativity blossoms as freely as the flowers. Where old things find new stories, and discarded plastic bottles become characters full of charm and life. In this episode, we explore a whimsical, heartwarming idea that brings joy, playfulness, and greenery together: upcycled poodle planters. Imagine walking through your garden and seeing a delightful white poodle swaying gently from a rope, its back filled with colorful succulents that mimic a playful, well-groomed coat. With floppy pink felt ears, round beady eyes, and the soft shimmer of water droplets on its surface, this adorable pup planter brings smiles before a single word is spoken. Suspended beside labeled herb pots of thyme and marjoram, it creates a lively contrast, a conversation between nature and imagination. It's not just decoration, it's storytelling in motion. Further down a sunny garden path, another upcycled pup peeks out from among blooming lavender and rosemary. This one is darker, made from a glossy plastic bottle, its textured ears crafted from spongy floral foam. Its legs are toothbrushes, its tail a cheerful puff. The morning light reflects off its slick surface, and as butterflies dance through lavender stems, it becomes clear, the smallest, silliest ideas often bring the most soul. What was once a bottle destined for waste now lives a second life, watching over your herbs with playful dignity. And then there's the third, perhaps the sweetest of all, a pastel poodle with soft yarn curls and gentle pink ears, hanging between two flower-laced ladders. It's so simple, yet so disarming. With a few tools, some felt, and an old bottle, anyone can create this. It doesn't ask for perfection. In fact, its charm lies in the gentle imperfections that reveal the touch of human hands. The succulents tucked into its back are hardy and forgiving, making this project ideal for beginners and children alike. These poodle planters are more than just cute additions to a garden. They are tiny reminders of what we can do with what we have. A plastic bottle, a bit of yarn, leftover buttons, all can bloom again when placed in the warmth of the sun and the care of our hands. So the next time you consider tossing out that shampoo bottle or soda container, pause. Look at it again. See the ears, the nose, the potential. And let your garden become a space not just of plants, but of playful stories and reimagined treasures. A place where every breeze brings a smile, and every corner hums with handmade wonder. Happy bottle scarecrow body for backyard beds. In the gentle rhythm of a garden morning, there's something utterly heartwarming about discovering joy in unexpected places, like a smiling poodle swaying from a twine above a flowering bed, or a cheerful scarecrow with button eyes standing proudly among leafy greens. Today, we dive into a story of transformation, where humble plastic bottles find second lives as delightful garden companions. Tucked between thyme and marjoram, a whimsical poodle planter catches the eye. It's not just the charming felt ears or the adorable black shoes that draw you in. It's the sheer creativity of turning waste into wonder. With a bloom of succulents growing from its back, this little pup becomes more than decor. It becomes a character in your garden story. The butterflies seem to agree, floating gently by as if they, too, have fallen in love with this joyful guardian of herbs. And what's even better? This project is simple enough to craft at home with some basic materials and a playful spirit. Whether you hang it under a pergola or between ivy-covered trellises, the poodle planter brings laughter and a spark of imagination wherever it lives. Wander a bit farther, and you'll find another lovable resident, a scarecrow crafted not from straw and burlap, but from the heart of upcycled materials. Its body, a plastic bottle still showing the ghost of a label, is dressed in a cozy scarf and topped with a sun hat. The smile on its face isn't just painted, it feels lived in, as if it's been watching the cabbages grow with genuine pride. Bees hum lazily in the background while tomato vines rest at its feet, and for a moment, it feels like time itself slows to admire the scene. These scarecrows, whether made for a child's garden or a community plot, are so much more than practical tools. They are storytellers in straw, keepers of charm, and symbols of creativity that protect with a grin. Each of these DIY garden additions reminds us that beauty isn't about perfection, it's about care, personality, and the intention to bring delight. With just a few bottles, some fabric scraps, and a little imagination, anyone can craft something magical for their backyard. Whether you're inspired to build a bottle-bodied scarecrow with flannel sleeves or a quirky poodle with a succulent menhir, the reward is more than aesthetic, it's the joy of breathing life into forgotten things. So take a moment to wander your garden with fresh eyes. Look at that empty plastic bottle not as trash, but as a blank canvas. With a touch of whimsy and a spirit of reuse, you might just find your next garden friend smiling back at you. 12. Cartoon-inspired hanging bottle planter. In a garden alive with color and purpose, there stands a friend not made of flesh and bone, but of painted smiles and recycled hope. A scarecrow, lovingly crafted from a simple plastic bottle, lifts its head proudly above a bed of leafy greens. Straw pokes gently from sleeves stitched from old shirts, while a straw hat guards a face that beams with joy. There's no menace in this guardian's grin, only warmth and charm. Around its feet, spinach and kale stretch skyward, safe beneath its kind gaze. This isn't just garden decor. It's storytelling in 3D, a tale of creativity and sustainability told through thread, paint, and plastic. Nearby, another companion leans in, half hidden among curly kale and juicy radishes. Her checkered flannel billows as if caught in conversation with the breeze. The softness of her rosy cheeks and her pink ribbon echo the gentleness of nature itself, showing that recycled bottles can take on soul when guided by caring hands. It's not about perfection. It's about heart. And in this quiet moment of sunlight and soil, that heart is loud and clear. At the center of the tomato patch stands perhaps the jolliest figure of all. A bottle snowman in a straw hat and button scarf smiles through bees and cabbages. His faded label whispers stories of past use, while his playful wooden arms stretch wide to embrace the growing world around him. The soil is rich, the tomatoes ripe, and above it all stands this cheerful bottle-bodied buddy, the kind of figure that makes you smile before you even realize you're doing it. It's a reminder that even trash can wear a grin, and that upcycling isn't just eco-smart, it's soulfully satisfying. Now look up, just slightly, and you'll find laughter swinging on strings. A hanging planter shaped like a cartoon dog drifts gently from a pergola beam. Its goofy smile, painted ears, and bursting floral hair turn the ordinary into delightful. It's made from a bottle, yes, but one you'd never recognize. Its playful legs dangle above herbs and snapdragons, swaying in rhythm with the wind, inviting bees and butterflies into its orbit of joy. Further along the fence line, another pup-shaped planter peeks from behind marigolds and pansies. The way it's been painted, with big eyes, a red nose, and a cheerful smirk, makes it feel like a character from a children's book, caught mid-adventure. It's simple to make, too. Just a bottle, some paint, and a wild bit of imagination. But the result? It's transformative. Not just for the space, but for the spirit. And then, suspended between trellis beams, a final friend twirls gently in the garden light. With shoes at the bottom and blooms at the crown, it balances whimsy with purpose. It's not just decoration. It's a declaration that joy can be made from anything, that waste can become wonder. In a world often tangled in excess, these little creations sing a different song. They whisper of playfulness, of care, of time well spent with one's hands covered in soil and paint. So gather your old bottles. Give them faces, shoes, hats, and hope. Let them guard your greens or swing above your herbs. And in doing so, let them remind you, a beautiful garden isn't just grown. It's crafted, one heartfelt idea at a time. Colorful recycled bottle bird family on garden fence. In a quiet corner of the garden, where soft clover carpets the ground and tree stumps stand like ancient guardians, a snail with a pastel shell finds its place among the greenery. But this is no ordinary creature of the forest. It's a handcrafted planter, lovingly sculpted from a coiled plastic bottle. Its spiral shell is a gentle shade of lilac, gleaming with dew, and from the center, tiny plants peek through like a miniature garden within a garden. The snail's antennae, tipped with sparkling beads or googly eyes, sway gently in the breeze, bringing a whimsical smile to anyone who wanders by. Creating one of these snail-shaped planters is simpler than it seems. Start with a plastic bottle, cut and curve it into a gentle coil, then paint it in soft tones like mint green or lavender. Add antennae made from wire, beads, or even springs, anything that wobbles with joy. Fill the center with soil and choose delicate plants, succulents, clovers, or creeping thyme. Let the snail settle beneath ferns, between mushrooms, or near a mossy log, and suddenly you've built a fairy tale scene out of everyday materials. The transformation feels magical, and the result, quietly enchanting. Elsewhere in the same garden, a different sort of magic takes flight. A colorful flock of bird-shaped bottle creations, perched proudly on fences and rails. Each bird tells its own story through paint, feathers, and playful detail. Some are chubby and round with bright red bellies and yarn wings. Others wear crowns or polka dot coats, and from their backs sprout living blooms, like feathers reborn into petals. The effect is joyful, as though springtime itself had gathered to admire their creativity. The beauty of these bottle birds lies in their diversity. No two are the same, and no skill level is too small to try. Use any shape of bottle and cut it to mimic the curve of a bird. Add wings from felt, spoons for beaks, feathers from colored paper or upcycled ribbon, and top it all with flowers or tufts of grass to give them character. Whether you place them on a weathered white picket fence or a garden bed surrounded by lavender and daisies, they bring color, life, and smiles to anyone passing by. These aren't just crafts, they are quiet reminders that beauty can come from what we once discarded. With a little imagination, a humble plastic bottle becomes a joyful creature. A forgotten container becomes a home for life. The garden becomes not just a space to grow things, but a space to tell stories, spark wonder, and reconnect with the playful heart of nature. Thank you for spending time with Backyard Fortune. If today's ideas inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a fellow DIY dreamer. Your garden has endless stories to tell, and sometimes the magic begins with a plastic bottle. See you in the next video, and until then, keep growing beauty from the unexpected.